Coach, a big win last week. I kind of joked we hadn't won a road game after staying the night, so you knocked that one off. But 5-1 against FCS opponents. You guys are winning by almost 3 touchdowns a game in those contests. How do you feel your team is right now and where they are?
Well, we thought we'd be at this point where we're hoping to where you have an opportunity with the last 3 games of your season to have a season of significance. So now you got 12 quarters of football left, and so looking forward to being back at home. It's been a while since we've been at home. So this is our next game. This is a quality non-conference opponent. Before we get back into conference play. So many different ways to look at it, but I'm glad to be back at home. I'm glad, looking forward to seeing the players today. A lot of things we did really well. A lot of things that we left some plays out there on the field, offensively and defensively. So certainly got some rooms for improvement. But the thing I was pleased with the kids the most was how they handled the travel. Okay, how they handled, going from 100,000 people in the stadium to not 100,000. Let's just put it like that. Of how they brought their own. We say bring your own energy, bring your own juice. The team, Houston Christian certainly didn't just roll over. They were in the game there into the third quarter, and kept responding even though we wasn't playing as clean as we would like to. So it was pretty neat to see us get some run game going, and Zach and Sam, the offensive line, and the tight ends. And so, very pleased with that. To get 7 turnovers, in a game, you could argue that you probably should score more than 50 points in a game if you get 7 turnovers. So, so we're pleased with that. But, once again, 3 touchdown passes. Bad tackling there at the end, give up the 80-yard one. So certainly happy with the win. We've got some things we can talk about today.
I think they're getting a little closer now as we get through the season to that perfect game with all 3 phases. Because you did put 100 of them, you did get 7.
No, you're right. Yeah. But I think that game again was kind of what I've been saying for weeks now. We at times can be very explosive. But then again, there's times where we're our own worst enemy. And so, and now, once again, it's good to have that ability to make, Colton Dowell, Zach, Sam, to make those big plays, to get those interceptions and flip the field. It's very, good by the players, good by the coaches to make those things happen. But there's things as you get into tighter games and you get into opponents that are playing at a higher level, those are things that if you don't make those big plays and you don't get those turnovers, you still got to be able to win a tight game.
You have said for years turnovers come in bunches.
Yeah.
And this defense has been doing that, quite frankly, over the last 2 years. You talked about energy earlier. How much energy did that give the sideline the other day?
Yeah.
This defense continually.
No, it did, and scored on defense. Okay, so pleased with that. Was it like 13 turnovers in the last 3 games? You had 5, 1, and 7, if my math's correct. So no, that's outstanding. So, sometimes you take the turnovers for granted, and you spend a lot of time talking about there's probably 2 plays in the game to where if we tackle better, right, that last touchdown doesn't get out, and then. Got beat on. They did a good job getting their back matched up on our middle linebacker and outran him and executed the play. You got to take those away, but you don't get to do that in the game. But if you did, where could this team be? Okay, so a lot of different ways to look at it. Football is a funny game, and but you keep emphasizing, look at these good things that you're doing, but these corrections got to be made because teams are going to keep coming back at us with different ways to attack some of the success that others have had against us on both sides of the ball.
Coach, we talked about it post game, but you were able to give Colton Dow that game ball from breaking UT Martin's all-time receiving record. How fun has it been for you to see a guy develop from the freshman he was into the receiver he is now? Where, quite frankly, you just assume he's going to go get 100 yards a game now, and that's unfathomable.
No, I can't say enough. I'm glad you asked that question. A couple things I'll point out. One, to have your quarterback and your middle linebacker and and I don't guess Colton's necessarily on any watch list up to this point, but he should be, okay? But those guys are getting national recognition, and Sam Franklin is, as the freshman in the Jerry Rice ballot there. All those guys are high school guys for us, so very proud of that and their development and stuff. But just going back to Colton Dowell's story, seeing his dad and his brother at the game and kind of sitting with them when they were having dinner at the hotel after the game, that's sent by him on the plane. His parents and what Colton's mean to this program and their loyalty to the program, being here 6 years, getting his degree, just has been a pillar. Like things we said about Rodney Williams last year, right? Colton Dowell, same track as Rodney, and so I wish him. Hopefully, he'll get an opportunity in professional football at some level. Because you're not going to get a better guy, a better teammate, and work habits, and the guy's productivity on the field has been outstanding.
Dotson had a huge game.
Yeah.
Was part of 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, and he's going to be named National Defensive Player of the Week.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen too often, but he really transformed his body this offseason to make him a better, more consistent edge rusher.
Mm-hmm.
How has he developed, and how much do you enjoy seeing what he's doing?
Right. No, Dot's worked really hard and stuff, and he was a linebacker out of high school, and it took a while to convince him that no, you're a D lineman, and but you can still have as big of impact. And what our envisioned for himself and the vision he's had for himself, he makes a lot of plays. I mean, you can turn on that Knoxville tape, you can turn on any tape we played, he does. There's some things to where, if he was a little heavier, that might be a little bit easier on him, but when he gets singled, it's a problem. He does a good job of shedding blocks, and is very active in there. This week he's got a challenge to assignment football, with the option coming at him and things like that. So he certainly got a challenge. But no, he's a good football player. He has a great desire to make an impact on his team, and so I'm proud of him. And I think he's got a higher ceiling that he can keep improving.
Kennesaw State is really over 200 yards a game rushing, spearheaded by their dual threat quarterback Xavier Shepard.
Mm-hmm.
What are the things this week that the UT Martin defense is going to have to do to really contain that young man?
Yeah.
And give us a chance to pick up our 10th straight win at home.
Yeah, it's one, when you look at this matchup, on the whenever it came up on the schedule, you're talking about a team that's been a perennial top 10 team and several rounds in the playoffs. So we knew what kind of opponent we were playing, and I'd say up to this point, this is by far the best FCS team we've played, personnel wide, for sure when you turn the tape on. But it's not only the option; it's they get in the gun and spread you out too, and that's a problem. And we've had some difficulties up to this point, handling that. Okay, so. We'll have to have a good plan this week, obviously, and then be able to, contain him and tackle well in space. Again, it comes down to that: tackle in space and cover guys, and see, can we play a complete game?